This is an SM Media production. Hi folks, and welcome to your Tuesday edition of Scottish Football Daily News. I'm Scott McPike. It's a pleasure to be your host as always, and we've got a few things to talk about. Not as busy as it was yesterday, but there's still been a few bits of gossip coming out on the kind of newspapers and things like that. But we'll get into it. We'll start by with a confirmation. Derek Adams has been confirmed as the new manager of Ross County. He returns to the club for his third spell. Just speaking to the media, he said that I've been looking forward to coming back for many years. He's been here twice and understands the football club, and it's a club he's been at as a player and a manager. Obviously, Ross County, it's a big job. He knew, Roy McGregor said that he knew for a number of years that Derek Adams wanted to come back. He said there was 70 applications to go through, but he kept coming back to the name of Derek Adams. And the deciding factor for him was the knowledge, determination and passion he has for Ross County. Obviously, it's a big statement for Ross County. Just reading it through a couple of things in kind of Ross County forums and things like that, I think the fans are overwhelmingly positive about it. It is going to be a massive step for him. He's not revealed the length of the contract, and the backroom staff will all remain at the club in respective roles. McGregor has said that the target for Adams is to survive in the league this season, but Derek Adams is very confident. He says a top 6 finish is still realistic, so that will be one to obviously keep an eye on. His first game's obviously a home game against Kilmarnock, I think it is, on Saturday, so that will be one to keep an eye on. Derek Adams is back for his third spell in charge at Ross County. Just on to another bit of topic is coming from Celtic, and there has been fair talk in the media over the past few days about their pursuit of a striker. With the kind of injuries to Daizen Maeda, Kyogo could be out. I don't think he's going to be out long term, but I don't know if he'll be fit for Saturday. But there are obviously problems that Celtic have with in terms of their front line, so I think a striker is an absolute priority. They also have the Asian Cup coming up in January as well, where the likes of Kyogo, will be away. I would expect Maeda, if he's back fit, will be away as well. Hatate, if he's back fit, will be away. So there will be a big gap in terms of players going off to the Asian Cup. But there have been a couple of names mentioned. One very familiar to Celtic fans by the name of Sidney Van Hooijdonk, obviously the son of former Celtic legend Pierre Van Hooijdonk. Just a report coming from Italy that Celtic are one of a number of clubs who are said to hold an interest in the young striker. I don't know much about him, to be honest. Obviously, he's been at Bologna for a while. There's a bit of a problem in terms of his contract. I think in terms of his contract maybe be up at the start of June. So I mean, it could be a cut price deal. Whether he's the answer, I don't know. For Celtic, they do need a body in terms of to get goals, especially if the guys those kind of big names are going to be out over the course of January. January's going to be a massive month. It's just going to be as important as December, depending on the position Celtic are in. But Celtic are looking to get a striker in. One name who has been mentioned as well, and this is a player I know very little about, is Luke Bartman. He is a South African under 17 wonder kid, all reports. He plays for Cape Town Spurs. He's played a few games for that side in the Premier Division in South Africa, but he's obviously 17 years old now. Whether that's in terms of a long-term prospect, I don't know. I highly doubt Luke Bartman is the person Brendan Rodgers wants to be his answer to solve his striker issue come January. So whether that is one that's just, again, with a view to the future, I don't know. But again, there are talk. Usually when a club like Celtic are looking at a player, then it's very important they kind of get the word out early. So Sidney Van Hooijdonk seems to be a bit more forward in terms of a kind of headline than Luke Bartman. I don't think it speaks very high in terms of the kind of youth players coming through at Celtic if they think Luke Bartman is the person they want to pursue. Nothing really else in terms of Lewis Palmer. Could add to Celtic's injury concerns in the forward line. He looks to have came off with a shoulder problem the other night against. I think he assisted the goal. Honduras are meant to play against Mexico tonight in the CONCACAF Nations League semi-final. So I think a lot of Celtic fans will be eager to see if Lewis Palmer is going to be available for that. If he's not, then it leads to a concern: is he going to be ready for Celtic's next few games? So obviously he's having a massive impact play on the past few weeks. On to the other side of Glasgow Rangers. It's been a year to the day since the sacking of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, and his former coach Seri Bowley said he is upset that he never got to see Tom Lawrence become the difference maker that they thought he would be under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. The former Rangers coach remains confident the fit again playmaker can still make a major Ibrox impact for Philippe Clement. It's been a year since Van Bronckhorst was sacked, and it's been a bit of an interesting journey from them. Obviously, Michael Beale took over, that didn't work out, and Philippe Clement has came in, and I do think that Tom Lawrence could be a big player for Philippe Clement. I think we saw against Livingston, we've seen glimpses in his time at Ibrox that he is capable of some big performances. He just needs a run in the team. I think that's very, very simple. I think he's a player Rangers haven't been able to get a long-term run in. So once they do, I think he will be a big player for Rangers. He obviously, again, brings something that Rangers have struggled with, which is an attacking output from midfield. We saw his pass for Dessers against Livingston. Seen him. It was one of the. I think he scored 3 goals. He obviously scored against PSV last season before he got injured. Scored the header against Hibs. So he does have goals in his game, and I do think he will be a big player for Rangers in the next few weeks. Once he gets back fit, once he gets fully fit, I think he'll be good. Next bit of news comes from Aberdeen. Former Aberdeen legend Dougie Bell insists there is no panic over Aberdeen's campaign so far, and he says that they should take a lot of confidence going forward. One player he has mentioned about is obviously Bojan Miovski, who has come into a good rate of form in the past few weeks, so he will likely generate interest. I just think Aberdeen, obviously, I think it is difficult for them to get back used into the habit of playing Thursday, Sunday, but I think they will be pretty fine. I expect them to get a run going. There's a lot of clubs I think will be interested in Miovski, obviously scoring the winning goal in a cup semi-final. He will, obviously, I think he played last night from North Macedonia against England, so he does have a lot of impact. He also spoke highly about Jamie McGrath as well, who has obviously made a big impact into the side since coming to the club over the summer from Wigan. He came off the bench for Ireland against Holland in the Euro qualifier the other night. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to take from that. I think he's a big player. I think Aberdeen do have a lot of good players. It has just been difficult for them to get a run going. I think they will be fine. I think they're one of those sides that will just pick up a run once they get into the habit, and I think they'll be pretty good. Last bit of news, this has obviously been something that's kind of generating headlines across the Scottish football landscape, and it was an interview with Queen of the South manager Marvin Bartley, who has obviously a difficult time for his side, Queen of the South, at the moment. I think they're in the middle of an 8-game losing streak, 1 win from the last 10 games, 8 defeats during that period, so it's obviously been a difficult time for them. They had a bit of a bad result. They lost 3-1 at home to Celtic Hearts at the weekend, and he has kind of came out and basically blamed the players' gaming habits for that. And I don't know if you've seen the interview, it is worth watching. He is very adamant that players are in the habit of playing video games for 8-hour periods, which is the reason they're kind of losing concentration. Again, it's one of those that in Scottish football, it's funny when you see it, but obviously I don't think it's a good look for either side. I don't think Marvin Bartley's doing any favours by calling it out. I know, obviously, if you feel your players are doing wrong, you have to, but if the players then revolt against you because you're making it public how you feel, then it's one of those things. It's going to be very difficult for for Marvin Bartley to win the players back. Now, I'm not saying the players are totally innocent. I think if professional football players are having 8-hour gaming sessions before a game, I mean, that's not great. I don't think that's great. I don't think I would be. I mean, if I was doing 8-hour gaming sessions, I don't think I would be very popular in my house. But that's kind of one of those things. But I mean, we have to kind of look at this. This is something I think that will kind of generate a lot of comments in the next few days. But again, it was pretty entertaining to see. Obviously, you could see Marvin Bartley is pretty raging about it, and fair enough to him. But again, this is one of those that it can go for you, it can go against you. It just depends. If you can get a lift out his players by calling it out, then it's a masterstroke. But if the players then revolt and say, "Why are you bringing this up publicly?" then it can lead to a bit of an issue in the dressing room. So again, that'll be one to keep an eye on as well. And that will do us for today's episode of Scottish Football Daily News. There is not a lot really else to report tomorrow. There will be a later time tomorrow. I'm hoping to cover Celtic's AGM on the show, so that will be something to keep an eye on as well. And if there's any news in the meantime, obviously, then stay tuned to our social media. But we'll be back tomorrow for Wednesday's Bulletin. Thank you.